you, you know the funny thing here, Pops, is going to the Giants game. We've been 3-0 on the Saints this year. Opening week, they dismantled the Packers, and then we had the Panthers against the Saints. We had the Saints over the Patriots, and then we come back with the Giants. Like you said, Jameis every other week, Jameis, and that's exactly what he was. And Barkley, that's his fourth week back now. You can see he's getting his sea legs. He's looking a lot fresher. He's looking sharp, making good cuts. Daniel Jones won the turnover battle, and they win the game. The Jets was the perfect storm. No A.J. Brown, no Julio Jones. And the Jets said, you know what? Henry ain't beating us. And I'm telling you, we had the 8 games going on, but the Jets were tackling. They were swarming. And they wanted that game. They wanted it more. And they kind of should have won it in regulation. There was a phantom PI call that kept the drive going for Tennessee. And then it goes to OT and the Jets win. But again, Tennessee has had some success the last couple of years, but they're walking around like this is earned. And I talked about this preseason, Bobs, and I'm going to stick to it. If Wentz stays healthy, and I knew the Colts' schedule to start the year was tough, but if he stays upright and stays healthy, the Colts are going to win that division, not the Titans this year.
Makes sense, to be honest with you, because do you have a real threat from anybody from the other two teams? Not really, because Jacksonville, they found their little stride Thursday night. They'll probably win their next game out, to be honest with you, in the next 10 days or so. So pretty much they'll probably win their next game out because they showed a lot. They showed something that worked for them.
Guess who they play?
I don't feel like cheating right now. Let me know. I don't know. I can't. I don't have it memorized.
The Titans.
Oh wow. Well, the Titans, if they try to pull off the same trick they pulled off Sunday, they should expect to lose again. You have to have one of those receivers in there, in my opinion. You have to have one of them in there. And Jacksonville's defense grew up during the week in that game as well too. They had a great defensive game. A lot of penalties and things of that nature kind of helped out the Bengals in the end, but the Jaguars played their hearts out, and I think that they're feeling good about that. And to your point about the Jets tackling very well, I have to agree. I think that even though they got shut out by Denver, they still were hitting Bridgewater pretty hard. You know what I mean? And they haven't given up 30 points this season either. When you put that in the factor, it just was you don't have any offense. The kid found something he liked yesterday, so he looked good doing it. You know, he's throwing a sky ball, and it's right on the money. And I just think that the Titans didn't expect that coming because they didn't respect the play calling. It's that simple. Well, they respect it now. And Corey Davis got his big moment as well, too. It sucks when you have a guy who was supposed to be one of your top players, you let him go, and he still memorizes things in your defensive scheme. And I think that was kind of helpful in itself, too. I always think about Kevin Cobb and what he did to the Philadelphia Eagles when he was the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, helping out the defense.
I was saying all day to anyone that wanted to listen, it was Corey Davis Revenge Day. And for the fantasy guys, he put up about 26. So he did his job.
All right. So there it is with that. Giants and Jets pull off the double upset. And you know what? The Giants win because Saquon Barkley played to his expectations. He's supposed to be a superstar, once in a generation talent. He scores a overtime touchdown in a very bruising fashion that will probably be an NFL highlight for the next 50 years, for winning a game. And, pretty much that's a big moment for him. It's a big moment for their team. And this could be a turn in the Giants season as well, too. But we'll have to the Giants are a week-by-week situation. The Jets, I think yesterday, they took advantage of a team that didn't take them seriously.
Yeah, in the NFL Sunday, it's any given Sunday. We all know that. I mean, take the Saints. I mean, the Saints every year have an 8-point dog. They're an 8-point favorite and they lose. It
Right.
usually is Jameis coming into town and beating them. Someone always picks them off. And I think people take a look at the injury report in that game and said no Shepard, no Slayton, home actual opener for the Saints in the Dome. And no. But now, hey, listen, the Saints next week, who do the Saints got next week? They're at Washington. So if you don't have the good Jameis, it looks like the Washington D might be back in play here. But currently they're 1.5-point favorites, 2-point favorites. So they think they're going to get the good Jameis, or are they getting Taysom Hill? I don't know.
Hey, and shout out to the XFL quarterback. Hiniki does it again. Looks great in Atlanta. Takes advantage of a team that has an awful defense, like we already knew. But they had a great game offensively, but still weren't able to close the show. So, hey, it is what it is. But let's move on and talk about a game that I actually went to yesterday, and that's the Rams getting stomped out by the Cardinals. Cards came to LA, stomp Rams, ending an 8-game losing streak and start the season 4-0. And now the Raiders are the only other 4-0 team. So, I think that it's safe to say that the Dolphins will probably be able to still celebrate. Even though Don won't be there, they'll still be able to celebrate 1972. So we have the Cards who are coming of age, overcoming a very still mediocre coach, in my opinion, but they got so much talent out there. It's tough to lose, and then you got great coaches all across the board, coordinators that are making sure that this thing goes afloat, goes right. Looking at their being behind their bench yesterday, looking at the way that team was moving around, they're very confident, Jeff, in what they're doing. And, they kind of bring each other up. And I really kind of messed up with JJ Watt. I thought he was going to just be over there making some money, on the the injury list every week with a bad shoulder or something. But JJ Watt is a great team leader overall for that team. At the end of the day, he's leading that pack. You know what I mean? And he got that big play, and he actually sat at the end of the bench by himself for a few moments. And I was looking at him, I said, man, this guy's like a superhero the way he goes about the game. So, and I think that he's put his spirit onto this Arizona team, and it's not getting talked about enough. But seeing it with your own eyes, you see where they're getting their confidence from. You know what I mean? You lose a great veteran in Larry Fitzgerald, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, and then you gain another guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer in J.J. Watt, and it's looking really, really good for the Cardinals this year. But we all know that the Cardinals have been really good in the first half of the season and really bad in the late half of the season. So I thought the effort that they had was tremendous. It shut up that SoFi crowd that was so loud and proud for those Rams. And then those Matt Stafford not so good moments that I kept bringing up when the trade, since he's been traded to the Rams, came to life. Just like failing at the goal line, Jeff. I'm telling you, he's the master of messing up a drive that ends at the 1. Master. I've never seen somebody fail so many times at that situation and still be considered a great quarterback.
Matt Ryan's right there too.
Yeah, they're league of their own.
Pops, when you talk about Arizona, and especially this year, take a look at their team. I mean, they go to Tennessee. They just destroy Tennessee. They come home. They win. They should have lost to Minnesota. Then they go out on the road, and you know what? The coach is not good. We know that, okay? Kyler Murray is elite, okay? You talked about Larry Fitzgerald not being there, but what they do, they brought in another seasoned veteran with A.J. Green, who's starting to get his sea legs. You got D-Hop. You brought a rookie in, Rondell Moore from Purdue. You got Christian Kirk. But what's really firing up this team is they got a defense. They got Chandler Jones and Watt that can put pressure on the quarterback. They're going to go as far as Kyler Murray and this defense. They're going to take the coach out of play here. And listen, you could see at halftime the Rams are in trouble, but they just quit. They just ran the ball straight down the throat of them. They ran for over 200 yards, and that's not their game. But if you're going to try to cover their weapons outside, you're going to have to give something up. They're like, hey, listen, you're going to play us to pass with Kyler Murray. We're just going to run it straight up the gut. And that's what they were doing. I mean, they made these guys look like, James Conner, again, 2 more touchdowns. They were just running roughshod. They coasted. And disappointing for the Rams because I thought they would defend home better. Line opened up at 6, closed at 4. Sharps knew what the hell was going on. Listen, Arizona's going to have that game where they're going to lay an egg. They did against Minnesota at home. They were fortunate that they missed the kick. But this, I'm telling you, we've talked at length. This NFC West team is legit. Russ yesterday gets an important win. Okay, Jimmy G out. Listen, with Jimmy G out, that line moved. San Fran's going to Arizona next week. It opened at 2.5. It's already at 5.5. Trey Lance ain't ready. He's not ready. So the Wild West, as we know it, Pops, it's all 4 of those teams can win that division.
I agree. And I think that Arizona answered a big question yesterday. Like, are they legit? You know what I mean? We saw them be real good last year early in the season. Is this for real? And it is. And, at the end of the day, this is a team that has a quarterback that's very dangerous. The reason being is because he's just like Mighty Mouse. It's like where you thought you got him, but you don't got him. You know what I mean? You think that you can put this certain type of defense on him, but it's not going to work. If you blitz him, he's running. If you want to zone him out, he's probably running again too. But thing is, he's running and throwing. It's not running just to run. And just, only time you see him run is when he knows he's avoiding a sack. But sometimes he's scampering out, opening up, and he figures out ways to get open space. Most quarterbacks in the NFL do not do that. Most quarterbacks in the NFL want a pocket to form up and, and make sure they get it off, Tom Brady style. But with him, it's almost like you're in the playground. And that's absolutely, and you wouldn't think that he was going to be able to do this. A lot of people felt that, okay, he's a little bit too little for the league, but he's absolutely perfect for today's NFL, honestly.
No doubt.
Not a quarterback anymore.
And their weapons, again, you got an elite with D-Hop. You got a seasoned veteran with A.J. Green that's catching on real quick. You got 2 young kids with Kirk and Moore, and you got a running quarterback that thinks pass before run, but if you're going to give him the lane for the first down, he's going to take it. And he's getting better with age. He's not making the mistakes. He knows his defense has got his back. The only one that we don't know if he's got his back is the coach, because he's not a proven NFL winner, never mind college winner. So it's going to be intriguing when LA comes back to for the revenge game. But I think you got to really start giving this team some credit. I really do.
And I think that McVay was a little lazy with the play calling yesterday too. I think that he was thinking that same scheme was going to work against his team, and he didn't do what he usually does when he plays the Cardinals, kind of ad-lib things a little bit, kind of, be original, because these games with the Cardinals haven't even been close when the Rams have beat them down. So that was just frustration as well too, of getting beat up by the Rams over the last half a decade or so, because it was really bad for the Cardinals coming to playing against them as soon as they moved to Los Angeles, because they've been, the whooping boy for them since they got here. So, hey, it's a new day. It's a new time. It's a new place. Let's go ahead and talk about back down memory lane one more time. And that's in your neck of the woods. The Bucs edged the Pats in an exciting Sunday night football game that culminated in a historical moment. Now, just real quick, I thought that game was an absolute another absolute gem from Sunday Night Football. There hasn't been one bad game on that network all season. Even the blowout with the Rams and Bears was fun because you saw that you had this new kind of like fast break NFL offense that the Rams put on display against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And it's crazy that this week you go wind up getting this game where they call it Bill versus Brady. And you wind up being the Bucs getting the win, but having to really, really fight for the win as well, too. Jeff, what are your thoughts as as a guy that's in the neighborhood, that's around this, you hear all this all the time. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to piggyback one thing. You talked about the Sunday night games. You got a big game next Sunday. Buffalo at your buddies, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. KC's opened up. It was 4. It's already down to 2.5. This has big implications for home field for the playoffs and, who might be hosting here. So we already know where you're going next Sunday. But as for this game, no one gave him a shot. This was Tom's coming home party. Tom was breaking Breeze's record. Mother Nature stepped in. No Gronk, which was evident, it hurt. Tom, you could feel, listen, if you wanted to ask me who was the better quarterback last night, it wasn't even a question. Mac was the better quarterback. And they ran for -1 yards for the day. They did not run the ball. I think the whole second half, they just gave up. It was the second half. Tom gets a touchdown. We get a touchdown. Tom gets a field goal. We get a field goal. And it came down to the last drive. Surprisingly, Bill goes for the 56-yarder. Even if they make that, which they doinked it, Tom had 53 seconds and 2 timeouts. We know what that's going to come. He was going to kick the field goal. They were going to win the game. So I don't understand not going for the first down, eat up the clock, and then kick the field goal. But overall, for Pat's Nation, they're happy in regards to they finally can now close the book. Tom's playing for the Bucs. He won a Super Bowl. He came here. He beat us. We found our quarterback for the future. Now we're 1-3. We go to Houston next week. We go then to 2-3. We come home and we start putting some wins together. Overall, the free agent, the Jowden, amazing game as well. Pat's Nation is happy even though they didn't get the win. Tom gets the win. We just turn the page and move on now.
Sounds good, but man, Larry Bird never had to walk back into Boston Garden,
Larry Bird had that option. They brought him in and they said, "Hey, the Pacers called. They want you," and they offered an amazing package for his last 2 years of service. And they basically put it to Larry. They said, "Larry, do you want to finish your career in Indiana, or he was struggling with the bad back, or do you want to stay here in Boston?" And he goes, "No, I want to stay here." And the last couple of years were real hard watching him trying to get around with that bad back. But no, it was amazing to have him. And the same thing with Tom. It would have been nice. He wouldn't have won the Super Bowl last year, though, here, and he wouldn't have won it this year either. So he's in the right spot.
And there it is. So with that, we will be right back with the Premier Sports Betting Show. We're going to talk about some MLB wild card. I know Jeff is going to throw it all up in my face right now, but it's all good. It's all good. We're going to talk about it still. And we got Yankees, Red Sox as well, too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTimeAngles Live with one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll Have Another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back, and let's go ahead and jump into the MLB wildcard preview, okay? And you know what, man? I'm sad for the Mariners because they lost 2 out of 3 this weekend and fell out of the race, but they was right there, Jeff, Friday night. Right there for Thursday. Thursday was a Thursday night. They was right there in the 5th hole. And the Yankees was sitting pretty, and the Yankees got lucky they were 2 games ahead, to be honest. But
The Mariners had the glory run. And the funny thing is they controlled their own destiny going into Friday. So you go from dog to now expected to win. So that was that. The Jays came up 1 game short, or half a game actually. They needed to win 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, and they didn't. I mean, even going into Sunday, that the Red Sox were down 5-2. The Yankees were 0-0, and the Jays were up like 11-2. It was that close. But as you said, hats off to the Mariners and the Jays. Hell of a run to make it interesting. And we get ready for a couple wild card games, Pops.
And these are box office wild card games because you have 4 of the greatest franchises in all of the sport going at it to get into the playoffs against teams that they'll possibly be beating as well, too, in the first round. I mean, in the divisional round. Because, you give the Red Sox and Yankees a shot, you know who they're going against? Rival, Rays, Dodgers, Cards. Whoever wins that, you get the Giants. I would think the Giants would want the Dodgers more than they want the Cards. Because if the Cards bust loose and get the Dodgers, they're going to get the Giants too. I'm calling it right now. Because that's just how this season's going. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting Washington National vibes, but I think the Dodgers, a team that scored 44 runs in a 5-game clip, I think, or something like that last week, or something of that nature, and they hit 17 home runs. That hot hitting is not going to slow down, and I think that the Cardinals swung their best shot, but it's going to be a little difficult. But we'll get into that in a moment. Let's talk Yankees Red Sox at first. It's a 1-game series. I say that the pitching right now, a lot of people would say it goes to the edge goes to the Red Sox, but I would say the edge goes to the Yankees, in my opinion. I think the Yankees got a little bit more that they can throw in there. I think that the Red Sox need to have a big day from Chris Sale. And, Chris Sale's still getting back into form, even though he's been really good. But you've thrown up some of the worst teams in the league against him as well, too, the last few outings. Now you're going up against the Yankees, and the Yankees are in a position right now where they can go ahead and move towards the this big moment and everything like that, towards getting to the playoffs and actually get their revenge for what happened almost 20 years ago, Jeff. 3-0. They haven't played since then, and this could be the big Yankees' big revenge moment. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I'll tell you this. The matchup Tuesday night is now going to be Cole versus Evaldi.
Okay.
So you got Cole versus Evaldi. Cole opened up minus 120. Now he's minus 115. The problem that I see is that they're going to need length out of Evaldi. Our back end and our bridges are shot. I have no idea what they're going to do. If Evaldi ever can get through the lineup for the 3rd time, that would be huge. And Cole is just a gamer, and he pitches well against the Red Sox, and it's going to be a tough out. Under over is 8.5. What's it, 4-3? 5-3. If it's close, going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the Sox don't have a lead, I'm a little nervous there. So we're hoping that they get out early and then they just hold on. But it's a coin flip for sure, Pops.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is the most intense playoff wild card you'll ever get in the history of it. I think this game is going to come down to the final inning, Jeff, to be honest with you. We might even get extras, but I hate the way we do extras now. I really do. You shouldn't get the I'm on second base already advantage.
I don't think they're doing that in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, we got to remove that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to remove that because that's it. That's too much. That's almost that's the advantage, man. You don't want to have advantages like that. You play the game out the way the game's supposed to be played. I understand during the season because we can't have these long games if you don't do it that way. But I think all in all, the Yankees should be good to go here. We're talking about pitching, but it's going to really come down to who's hitting. And I think the Yankees are hitting a bit better right now. The Red Sox have had way too many moments where they just win in the games, only score 1 or 2 runs. The Yankees, it seems like they stepped it up in every big game that they've had to play this season. And, that's just an ode to them. Now, let's talk about a game that's going to be about 15 minutes away from me over on the hill, Chavez Ravine, over at the old Dodger Stadium. Well, it's renovated now. They didn't put about a bit. I think they said $1 billion into it. I don't believe it's been a lot of money, but it's a different looking place than it was probably from the beginning of it. Well, no, probably from about 20 years ago, because they've changed Dodger Stadium around like a lot, since they built it. So they have an advantage here because they have been absolutely tremendous this year. They've won, 106 games this year? 106 games this season.
And the wild card.
And the wild card. So you can't have your season end on a one-game situation. I would say that the Dodgers are built for a situation like this because all I have to look back to is 3-1 against Atlanta, and Atlanta was looking good in that series as well, too. A lot of people had Atlanta paid to win the series in 6. That didn't come to fruition. I think that the Dodgers are playing or have that mentality going into this game where we only got one game at a time. But this one is the game. And I think they're going to go in here and they're going to absolutely have a great day against the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals had a great run, but it's going to end at the Ravine. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
Well, Vegas doesn't make it easy for us to play the game. Max opened up -220, now -215. You can grab the Cardinals with Wainwright around +185, 190 right now. I think that under overs at 7.5. I would expect a lot of people will be playing the Dodger run line -1.5, which is like -130, 135. Let's be realistic here. I've said for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 months that you weren't going to catch the Giants. So the season can end against the Cards because now you're going to have the opportunity. Says, well, we were just waiting for the playoffs and we're going to beat them in the 5-game series and then we're going to move on. So tough game. Like I said, Cards had a great run. They got in. I expect the Dodgers to find a way. I'll give you a 5-2 Dodgers. How's that, Pops?
Well, sounds good. Well, you said they wasn't going to catch the Giants. Hopefully, it looks like if they get to this game and they wind up beating the Giants, they caught them at the time that they needed to catch them. But you know what? I would love to see that as the NLCS and not as the divisional series. Everybody, we're all missing out on something pretty good.
And the sad thing is both of them. Think about it. That if the Dodgers win, they should play the Brewers and then have Atlanta play the Giants. And the same in the American League. That the Yankees or the Red Sox should have to go out White Sox or Houston and send Houston to Tampa. Because both of those series should not be in the ALCS and 5-game series instead of the ALDS and 7-game series.
Yeah. So I can't wait, man. This is going to be an exciting playoff this year. I look forward to it. And you know what? We got to all keep our eyes on the Brewers, man. That's a high scoring offense. I know they got swept by the Dodgers this weekend, but they knew that they weren't playing for much this weekend. You know what I mean? They were throwing out pitchers that aren't probably will pitch a half an inning in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, they're not worried about too much. But all in all, let's go ahead and jump into the Monday night preview tonight. And we got the Raiders coming in here plus 135. Going to get your man, Justin Herbert. Herbert. Yeah. Herbert. -3, and it's over under of 51 here as well, too. So when you look at this game, it's just another chapter in one of the more bitter rivalries in the NFL, if you think about it. These teams been going at it since 1960, and it's crazy because one started in Oakland, one started in Los Angeles. One moved to San Diego, the other one moved to Los Angeles. Then they moved back to Oakland. Then they decided to move to Las Vegas. Well, they wanted to move to LA, but the San Diego team got jealous because they didn't get enough attention, and they took the deal from the other LA team that moved to Orange County. So, all in all, LA's home team, LA's team will be playing tonight at SoFi, and it ain't the Chargers, Jeff. Telling you right now. This is a 70-30 crowd to the Raiders. It doesn't matter what bettors are doing in this game. Raider fans, I saw a Raider fan yesterday when I was walking to the parking lot after the game, and he was already ready to go. Drunk is beyond belief. He was already ready to go. He's probably not going to be in the game, but, he was ready to roll. So that just goes to show you the love and affection that the Raiders have in the city of Los Angeles. So, your thoughts on this one, Jeff, and then I'll have my thoughts.
It's a tough game. Opened at 3.5. It's 3. Under over 52.5. Now 51.5. Chargers 2.5 first half, 3 for the game. I think the public sees an undefeated team, a Raider team that's pulled a couple of games out late in overtime. If the Chargers play like they did against Kansas City, they will win this game by a touchdown or more. If they play stupidly like they did against Dallas, get 2 touchdowns taken off the board, and stupid penalties, bad clock management, the Raiders will come out victorious. It's that simple. Win the turnover battle, establish Eckler. You got Big Mike. You got Keenan Allen. You got a great defense. Derek Carr hasn't been pressured much. And the Raiders' front 7 on defense has been amazing. So haven't seen much of Darren Waller lately. Expect him to get going early. I expect a great game. I lean Chargers here. I see this game 28-23 Chargers.
All right. So that's where we're going with that, and that's what we see with that. So real quick, let's talk about something fun, these guys, the Lakers. And it looks like the Lakers are going to be back at it are back at it. They played the Nets yesterday in a fun game, preseason game and everything like that. And, we've already talked about the Raiders and everything like that. You know where I'm going with this one. I don't need to really explain it. I mean? The Raiders are going to be the Raiders tonight. Hopefully they go ahead and they keep playing that great football that they've been playing the first 3 weeks of the season, especially Derek Carr, who's the man right now, almost getting 400 yards per game. When you look at the clip, you know what I mean? So I don't think that stops tonight. I think expect a Henry Ruggs moment tonight, big moment tonight. And which gets really excited old Louis Riddick. I used to play for the Raiders myself. Yeah, I know Greasy's not going to be into this because he doesn't like either one of these teams. He played for the Broncos. All right, so Lakers yesterday, they were good. Good game, but you know what? You didn't have Russ wasn't playing yesterday. You totally understand why Russ wasn't playing yesterday. LeBron wasn't going to be playing yesterday. AD got in some time yesterday. because he needed to get in some time because he was hurt and things of that nature. You got to test the injury out a little bit and see if you good to go. But he'll probably be sitting out more than anything. But Lakers absolutely got crushed yesterday. I just kind of now just look like, wow, these guys got beat by 30, almost 30 points in a preseason game. So I guess the Nets must have thought it was the NBA Finals game one. Lakers just thought it was a practice game. But Malik Monk showed out for the home crowd yesterday. Today for Malik. That was good. He's the guy that I'm very high on out of all the picked up as well, too. So I like to see that. DeAndre Jordan was able to come off a few moments and get 3 rebounds without trying. But all in all, the Lakers just went out there and just kind of just stunk it up a little bit. But, you can't stop it when you got a team that shoots 48% from the field and everything like that, and you shoot 36. But it's just practice, right? As Iverson said. What's your thoughts on that, Jeff?
I'm going to need to see the roster. I mean, you guys have changed so many bodies. I mean, the one thing that I think that you got going this year is you got your big 3, right? You got AD, LeBron, and Russ. So you could literally rotate them where each guy takes a game. I know LeBron doesn't usually take games off, but, you could have AD off one game and you still got LeBron and Russ. You can have Russ off one day. You got LeBron and AD. And, if LeBron needs a little time off, then fine. I mean, I haven't dug deep into the NBA. I have a hard time believing that they're going to be tipping off regular season real soon. I mean, they were just playing in the middle of July, and it just seems, like wow, And they played the Olympics, so I mean, these guys are going to have more time management this year than the Spurs ever thought of. So it's going to be fun. I think you're right there. I think there's a few teams that are going to give you a push this year. But I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I just say to myself that just be patient. This thing is not going to be ready to roll as soon as as soon as the season starts. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Man, let's go ahead and get into talking tickets because we both know it's Monday. We got to get to the grind. Let's go ahead and jump into it, Jeff. Tonight, this is what I'm doing. I'm all rated out. Give me the Raiders over 22, over 24 team total. Let me get the plus 135 with the money line, and then also the over 25.5 for both teams in the first half tonight, Jeff. What are your thoughts on that?
You're all Raiders, so go Raiders. I mean, like I said, it's a divisional game. It's going to be a great game. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game, no doubt. And it'll be interesting to see who wins the quarterback battle, Carr or Herbert, Haybear, whoever you want to call them. But I'm looking forward to it. I think defenses might get a little shining moment early. And then I on our end, we got the Chargers pulling away. But for your sake, go Raiders.
All right. Well, hopefully the Raiders they get their dance on like it's 1983. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm excited for tonight because Monday Night Football has been epic as well, too, this year. Only one bad game, and that game was expected to be bad, and that was Green Bay and Detroit, which actually started as a good game until Detroit went into being the bad news Bears of the NFL. I just couldn't get over the fact what happened in golf yesterday with the snap. That just was terrible. Then the coach calls a 4th and goal that you don't need to call. Just take the points and move on. It's early in the game. Get yourself some confidence. Get your quarterback some confidence. Look at what works and what's not working. No, let's go ahead and throw an air ball over the receiver's head. Yeah, pretty much sums up the fact that Dan Campbell should be fired before we get to week 10. It's that simple. I got to go.
I saw that a lot in the NFL. Teams turning down field goals. Cleveland was down 7-0, and they had a 4th and 5 from the 5. They went for it and got stopped. There was a couple other teams, the same thing, not taking field goals. I think there was a memo like yesterday in the NFL. Don't take the field goal, go for the touchdowns, because they all were doing it yesterday, Pops.
There it is. There it is. So with that, can't wait till Thursday, Jeff. We got plenty of stuff to talk about Thursday. The NFL will be at week 5, first week of the second quarter of the season. And this is when the show gets really good. Yeah. This is when, you might not be getting the final rose here at the end of the month. It might be the season for some teams. Not looking good. All right. So there it is. So there it is. So with that, this is the show. I was just trying to come up with something to think of, but Jeff, you're the absolute best. I love you, brother. We'll be back at it Thursday. You guys make sure to tune in tomorrow for another great show. So you guys, hey, it is what it is. Feeling good, feeling great. We're going to go ahead and go from here. And, this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTimeAngles Live with the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and my man, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.